Welcome to my wonderful presentation here, Acupuncture for Performers, How to Come Through When All Eyes Are on You. Today, we're going to talk about challenges to performers. Have you ever experienced sweaty palms, the shakes, or blanking during an audition or performance? Have you considered using beta blockers or other drugs to help? You are not alone and you are in the right place. I know what it's like not to fit into society's definition of normal. Finding my way in this culture has not been as easy as some might think. As you know, one of the drawbacks to high intelligence and talent can be having too many options. Believe it or not, it stopped me from having a professional musical career. I just couldn't do what it took to put myself out there in the public eye. By the time I was 27, I had to face facts and put my music on the back burner. I went into computer programming to pay the bills, and I had success there, but I was still deeply disappointed by what I perceived to be the biggest failure imaginable, giving up on my dreams. I eventually turned to acupuncture to help with neck and back pain. Amazingly, I found that it also treated my constant anxiety. I didn't know it was possible to have that burden lifted until that acupuncture treatment. After that day, my eyes were open to a whole new realm of possibilities. I was back in school pursuing my acupuncture license within months of that moment. I saw the possibility of expressing myself fully on or off the stage. As I continued with treatment and learned more about acupuncture and herbs, I felt my enthusiasm returning. For the first time in many years, the joy of simply being alive blossomed once more in my heart. I delight in sharing this joy with my patients by freeing them to have control over their self-expression and creative flow. You may ask yourself, what does a doctor of Oriental medicine know about music, computers, and neck pain? Well, Eastern medicine has a unique perspective on the body and the emotions and is perfectly suited to treating the mind-body connection. This is the ideal modality for treating a variety of concerns, including challenges for performers. Well, I've seen these challenges over and over again, and I want to share these solutions with you from a different perspective than mainstream information you may have heard. Today, I am going to discuss the top 5 challenges performers face and tips for dealing with each of them, why pharmaceuticals don't always work, how to improve outcomes and lessen side effects with them if you are using them, and why acupuncture is the go-to solution to help performers overcome these challenges. Please save any questions for the end. I'm saving time just for that purpose. Okay, so the top 5 challenges and solutions. Which one trips you up the most? Here we go with some game-changing tips. First of all, number 1, the shakes. We got old man Poseidon or somebody blowing his horn there. Shaking and trembling is just like the wind. And in Asian medicine, we treat it that way. You see a tree whipping from side to side. You know what's happening. That tree is not dancing. It's being blown around by the wind. And it's just the same with us. When we shake, it's considered wind internally. That's what we call that. It happens to everyone. If you don't think you're the only one, it happens to everybody, even the famous performers. And especially affects the hands and the mouth, the extremities, right? The hand, it's coming out. You think, imagine a tree. The worst part is going to be the tips of the branches, and it's the same with us. And this can affect breathing too. So if you're a flautist or a singer, this is going to affect your diaphragm. It can affect your mouth and your lips trembling, and the fingers, of course, with the fretboard or the fingerboard, whatever instrument you happen to be playing. So what can you do? What's another solution for this? Acupuncture, first of all, is good for all of the challenges I'm going to share, and I'm going to give you tips and things you can do for yourself. And here we go. Number 1, meditate and stretch before playing. This cannot be overstated. When we shake, our tendons are tight, right? So when you stretch these things out first, you're loosening the tendon, you're lubricating it, with your synovial fluid and with your blood. And that is going to make you less likely to shake. Also, timed inhale, hold, exhale, hold. This is a breathing technique that is a tried and true method to calm the body down and also to bring the mind into a calmer space as well. And so this is something you can do before you play. Let's do it together right now. So go ahead, put your feet on the floor, close your eyes, and we're going to take four counts to inhale, 4 counts holding, 4 counts to exhale, 4 counts holding. So here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Notice how you feel. You probably feel more relaxed, more calm. And that is exactly the point. So you can use this however many times you need to repeat it. You can do it over and over again for 20 minutes. You can just do it until you feel calmer, whatever you'd like to do. It's yours now. The next thing we can do is practice under duress. And what I mean is get a friend to drive you around the car and play your instrument in the back seat while they are driving. This is extremely challenging, especially if you're riding on a little bumpy road. But this will stabilize you. This will force your body to use all those tiny little stabilizing muscles. And when you're sitting still, it will be a lot easier to be grounded and still in your body. I know the other thing here listed is stilted inhale, exhale, and play. What that means, this is the opposite of the previous one. This is a way to put your body into fight or flight. And then you practice. So you do not do this before you get on the stage. You do this practicing under duress. So here we go. We're going to do this. And you're just going to go and exhale. Let's try that together. And notice how you feel. You may feel a little more on edge. And that's the idea. We are creating that simulation of what it's like when you're getting ready to play. You're in fight or flight now. You're ready to go for a jog. You're like, oh my God, they're watching me. Now pick up your instrument in your practice studio and play. And do that for a while and just get used to practicing under tension so that when you are under a camera or in front of a judging panel, it will be familiar. So now let's do the timed inhale, hold, exhale, hold, so we can all come back down. Okay, inhale. 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. If you feel different, then you've done it right. This should have brought you right back down to a nice, calm, grounded place. If not yet, do it again until you do feel calmer. Some foods that are good for nourishing the tendons are red meat, beets, spinach, kale, and greens. These are all what we call blood building foods, and they are wonderful for nourishing the parts of us that tremble when we're nervous. Okay, challenge number 2, chronic pain. This is a huge one. Well, of course, these are all huge. They're the top 5. First thing, crackling and or burning wrists. A lot of performers, instrumentalists, dancers, musicians, people working on computers have this issue. It's very common. Another one is TMJ, clenching the jaw. That's while playing, it really will slow you down if you are using your mouth to play. But it will slow you down also if you are not, because it will affect your shoulders and your neck and your upper back. And everybody uses those, no matter whether they're singing, playing a flute, or violin or guitar. Hand cramps and numbness. This goes with the crackling and burning wrists. It's another thing. When you are using your hands and you're gripping that instrument like the death grip, that is not helping the blood flow into and out of the hands, and that can create a tremendous problem. Neck, back, shoulder, all these things, they're all part and parcel of playing the same position for hours and hours without rest. And this can lead to chronic pain. I've seen it time and time again. So here's an example of someone who had chronic pain and came to me for acupuncture. He's a 50-year-old violinist. He was actually suicidal when he first started coming to me. In his intake, he informed me I was his last stop before the Bay Bridge. No pressure, but I rose to the occasion. He put his faith in me. That was a huge responsibility, but I wasn't going to let him down. He is still coming to me 7 years later, doing much better. And now I see his wife and his daughter as well for their own reasons. They're all flourishing and they just come in for maintenance. And his main thing beyond the stress and the fear of failure was chronic neck and shoulder pain, and also palmar pain, hand pain in his palms when he was gripping the instrument, and weakness. That was something that was easily fixed, actually, with some acupuncture treatments, as well as the stress and the anxiety. He really came around very quickly. And just a little bit of training here and there on posture and some tips there, which I will give to you later. All right. So the solution to chronic pain, some tips are stretching for the upper body and wrists, of course, practicing yoga. Yoga is a wonderful mind-body exercise that is tailor-made for stretching out the top of the arms and the hands and the neck and the back and all these things, and balancing the body. Of course, that's not the only thing you can do. Yawning is great for TMJ, and stretches for the neck, of course. All this, we don't think about it, but this neck can really become a huge problem if we don't take care of it. Limp-wristed strength. Now, what that means is, when I was talking about gripping the fretboard or whichever instrument you have, holding in an awkward position for a long amount of time, the answer to this is this exercise, limp-wristed strength. So you're taking your hand and you're practicing holding your instrument without gripping hard. And yes, it is possible. You can do this. You do not have to have a death grip on your instrument. And in fact, this is a wonderful mindfulness technique where you hold something and then very, very loosely, and then have someone try to take it away from you and not let them, but not grip hard. This is a wonderful way to retrain yourself not to do that. So some good foods: fish oil, turmeric, spring greens, avocado, butter, lemon juice, and water. I could go into the details of why all this, it helps, but that may be for another talk. Okay, challenge number 3, practice isn't helping. How many people have gone over and over the same thing and it just doesn't seem to get better? Or maybe it's better after you practice and you've played it 3 times, but then when you come back again to it the next time, you still have to play it 3 times to get it right. That's not going to work during a performance. Or maybe you decide, I just need to knuckle down and practice more and I'm going to nail these performances, but that doesn't work either. You double your practice time. You go from 2 hours a day to 4 hours a day, and your performances are still hit and miss, not solid. You are not alone. This happens a lot. There is a solution to this, and it is focused, pinpointed practice only. No mindless practice. When you do what you do when you practice is how you will perform later. So do not practice getting it wrong and doing it again, because that's what you'll do when you're on the spot. You can make yourself worse that way, actually. So don't do that. You can play for intervals. This is another really great technique. You just sit yourself down, get yourself in position, hit the start button on your timer, play a part of a piece, 7 minutes, and then you get up and you walk away. You do something else, do the dishes, do something, do a couple of yoga moves, whatever, and then come back and try it again. You could just taking the time to sit yourself down, calm your body and your mind, and then play. Very focused. Also, warm up, play a difficult passage one time, and then go to the next one. Play it once. Do not give yourself another chance, because you won't have another chance in front of the audition. Foods that are good for this are sweet potato, meat and fish, stews, chili, whole fruits. Foods that are bad for this: sugar, wheat, dairy, cold, wet foods. These sugary, sweet, cold, wet foods are very, very hard on the body, and they will weaken your muscles, and that will make it harder to focus your mind. I can talk about that more at another time. There's a huge amount of information behind all of this. Okay, challenge number 4, stage fright or performance anxiety. Blanking. You can't see the page in your mind's eye. You get up there, you're done. You're like, oh my God, I don't know what the notes are. That's stage fright. Losing track of the music. Oh, did I just play the second part, or was that the third part? Oh my God, do I go to the coda or do I go to the end? I can't remember where I am in the song. That's stage fright. Coming to a sudden shutdown, a shuddering halt. This is another thing, and this is all from the adrenals in the kidneys overloading your system and putting you into fight or flight mode. And that can freeze you solid, just like a deer in the headlights. Dry mouth, another result of the same process. And even vomiting and diarrhea for performing. And actually, this is very common. A lot of performers have to go to the bathroom for one end or the other before they get on the stage, including litigating lawyers, speakers. I mean, it's not just musicians, dancers too. It's very common. And it's because we're just so hyped up into this fight or flight response. Our body is just ready to fight a bear or run away from a bear, more like it. So here's another case study. This is a harpist, a 23-year-old woman, just got accepted to a music program in Ohio. She had terrible fear of loss of control. She had the shakes and blanking during rehearsals and auditions. She was terrified of moving forward in her career. She didn't know she could do it. She came to me for help. So we started her with acupuncture treatments once a week at first, and she got better very quickly. And then after a while, I went to twice a month for about 6 or 8 months. And then it was time for her to go to school. And so she picked up and went out there to Ohio and is doing great. And acupuncture really turned all this around. All the shakes, the blanking, the shutdown, all of the above, everything got better. It was amazing. Okay. And so number 4, what did we do for her? Well, I taught her to meditate. That was the first thing we did after we started the acupuncture. Here's a good meditation for you. Let's practice this one. You're going to visualize, go ahead and close your eyes. I'll walk you through it. Visualize a blue sapphire right behind and beneath your belly button. Just close your eyes, keep them closed, breathe softly, and just imagine that beautiful blue stone floating there near your pelvis and your sacrum, all those super heavy, dense bones in your body. Those are the heaviest bones, the hip bones and the sacrum, the pelvic bone. That's your center of gravity. When you put your attention there, all of your energy will come down and be grounded inside of you. And this is the antidote to fear, getting inside your body. Fear scatters your chi. Of the 5 elements that we're going to discuss, the water element is blue, and it's all about fear. And it's really associated with the lower parts of the body, the kidney, the bladder. the lower back, the knees. Shaking knees is a fear response. And so when you are bringing your attention into that part of your body and just focusing your mind on something physical that is peaceful and quiet, that will make you peaceful and quiet. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Another thing you can do to protect yourself from stage fright is to play while distracted. Teach yourself how to focus. Train yourself to stay in the zone when you're practicing, and you will stay in the zone when you're performing. Again, what you practice is how you will perform. So turn on that loud music, let your little sister watch whatever obnoxious TV shows she wants up to high volume, and play in the same room with her. And don't let it distract you. Practice playing with distractions. Do not put yourself in the perfect little pristine environment where nothing bothers you, because the stage is not like that at all. All right, breathing the music. Somatic integration. This is one of my favorites. While you're practicing, when you're playing, imagine that you are breathing that music in, that you're hearing yourself play as you inhale, and as you exhale, you are exhaling the music into your instrument, through your instrument, bringing the vibration of the beautiful music that you're creating into your body mentally. This is your mental focus. Bringing it in will harmonize you with your body, will calm your body and remind your body of the beauty of what you're doing, which again is the opposite of fear. If fear is like a raging river that is overflowing and flooding everything, then this connection and this containment would be like the earth, banking that river, containing that flow so that it is channeled where it needs to go instead of just splashing you all over the place. So you want to bank that river. And all of these techniques that I've listed here will help you to bank that river. Foods that are helpful for the water energy, the water chi, are shellfish, cold water fish, walnuts, eggs, carrots, and seeds. To name a few, there are more, but these are good ones. And also you want to avoid and eliminate caffeine. If you are finding yourself with a lot of stage fright, you do not need caffeine in your life, because that is only going to exacerbate the problem. Stay away from the news and stressful entertainment as well, unless you're doing it while practicing to try to kind of toughen yourself up a little bit for your focus. Yeah, no horror shows, unless of course that's going to be your playing while distracted exercise. Okay. Number 5, injury. Everybody's horror show, right? You can't play if you've injured yourself badly enough. So I'm looking at the picture of this girl. Oh, isn't that sweet? Little flautist. Yeah, but when I look at her, I wince. Look at her back. She is hunched over. Her neck is contorted. Her leg is locked. Her knee is locked out, and the other one is jammed up. I will bet you $15,000 that there is a Snickers bar in that backpack and not a healthy snack. She's cruising for bruising. She's playing all the time. She's not resting. Over practicing is one of the biggest things, especially with bad posture. Incorrect posture during practice performance and just day to day will set you up for injury and chronic pain as well. These are things to be avoided like the plague. Also, as I said, not enough rest, poor diet. If you don't put healthy foods into your body, the body cannot compensate for extreme challenges. And let's face it, this is a challenging thing. Playing music is not easy. Otherwise, everybody would do it and everybody would be really good at it. Well, it's too hard for that. This is not easy. You need to rest and prepare yourself. So, solutions. You got to think of playing an instrument as a sport. You are an athlete. You are using your body to do your thing. This is not a mental exercise. It's a physical, mental, spiritual even, if you take it in that direction, which most of us do. Cross training is a wonderful idea, just like any athlete would. You take dance classes, martial arts, or yoga. These are ways to align your body, make sure that whatever positioning you are doing is not going to set you up for major setbacks. So listen to your body. Never play in pain. If it hurts, stop. Do not play through the pain. That is a terrible thing to do. Make your instrument conform to you, not the other way around. Sit up in front of a mirror, practice in front of a mirror, sit in front of the mirror and up straight, no twists or turns, no awkward angles, and take your instrument and position the instrument so that you can play in that position, not in like Quasimodo. And practice in front of the mirror, because you may be sitting like this with one shoulder up and the other down, and you don't notice it because you've been doing it for so long. But if you see that in the mirror, you will automatically fix it. If you don't see it in the mirror, you'll continue to do it. So get a mirror in your practice area. Daily yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, these are mind-body exercises. They're very calming to the mind, and they're also toning and balancing to the body. A lot of players get imbalanced because they're always in the position, and you need to do things that are going to compensate and correct that every day so that you're starting with a clean slate every time you practice, not making it worse and worse and worse. So, of course, again, nutrition, sleep, and rest must be top priorities. You're an athlete. You're not a computer jockey, or maybe you are. That's a whole nother conversation. Music is very athletic. And again, and work with a professional on posture. Find a teacher who understands your instrument and how to handle it. They're out there and they're worth finding. Okay, so let's summarize what we've talked about. Acupuncture and Chinese herbs. That's what I do. That is the main thing that I use. That's my main tool, and it is incredibly effective, as I said in the case studies. Focused practice. This will keep you on target and out of the mindlessness zone. You do not want to be spinning, 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 spinning. This is a bad idea. Also, nutrition cannot be overemphasized. What you eat is what you are, right? You are what you eat. We've all heard this, and it's very true. Mindfulness practices, breathing. Remember, when you breathe, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. This will calm you down instantaneously. You can, if you're in an orchestra, you can sit there and do that while you're counting, waiting for the next person, or for when your turn is to start playing. Also, the meditations, very important. Daily meditation for just reminding us that we are in this body. We're not living outside of the body. We're living inside the body. And that's what matters. It's our house. Movement, stretching, Qigong, Tai Chi, etc. all cannot overemphasize the necessity of keeping the body balanced. And again, rest. Get enough sleep. Do not stay up till 3 a.m. and then try to get up at 8 a.m. It's a bad idea. It's not going to make you any stronger to stay up late practicing if you're not getting enough sleep. And take breaks. Don't keep going and going and going. You are not the Energizer Bunny. You need to stop, take breaks, give a chance for the blood to recirculate into the hands. Do exercises to keep the wrists loose. Be mindful. Okay, so next section. Pharmaceuticals don't always work. They mask symptoms. They do not fix the problem almost all the time. You start out with one thing, and before you know it, your underlying causes are hidden. You're not aware. You're playing with a crooked neck. You're taking ibuprofen to stop with your neck pain. And meanwhile, your neck is getting more and more stiff to the point where you can't even look over your shoulder anymore. I've seen that many times. Side effects. Pharmaceuticals have side effects. That's one of the things that goes with it. And also they create dependency. A lot of these drugs, you get on them and you're on them for life. And if you try to wean off, it's much worse than it was before you got on the drug. Beta blockers and sedatives dull the edge. I don't know why that snuck ahead. Beta blockers dull that edge. I'm gonna have to look at this later. Okay, so meanwhile, what's different about what I do? Holistic versus mainstream. So holistic medicine treats the root cause. It looks at the underlying cause. Why is this happening? And we treat that, not just the symptoms. We look at the person as a web of interconnected relationships. Those elements that I was talking about, the water element and the wood element and the earth element, so on, they are part of a web of interconnectedness. And that's a whole nother concept, but that is how we look at the human being, not as a pile of parts. Holistic medicine engenders a healthy lifestyle and it has no side effects. And this is huge because really at the end of the day, if you're living well and you're treating yourself well, you have no side effects, you win. That is a good life. And that is what holistic medicine offers. Mainstream medicine, not so much. We manage symptoms. They don't fix the root cause. Let's just hide things. Let's sweep it under the rug, pretend it was never there. Just keep taking this pill, right? Looks at a person as a disease. You are diabetic. You are this, you are that. You get shoved into a cubbyhole and that's the end of that. It's a label. It's not an individual thing. Everybody's got to take this cholesterol medication once you get to this age. It's highly unindividualized. What's the opposite of individualized? That's what it is. Okay, so pharmaceuticals and side effects, of course. I just got through saying that a minute ago. All right. So holistic medicine is Eastern medicine, is Asian medicine. There are many names for it, but Eastern medicine is holistic in its approach. So it treats you as a unique individual affected by your environment. Your lifestyle affects your health, everything in it, your air, your food, your relationships, how much sleep you're getting, how happy you are with your job, how much you like your instrument will affect how well you play. Everybody knows this. Acupuncture and Chinese herbs work without side effects. And Chinese herbs can balance side effects for Western drugs too. So again, root and branch, which means we treat the root cause and we also treat the symptoms. Constitutional diagnosis means, again, we're looking at you as a unique individual who has an underlying constitution. You're either really robust, maybe you're a little frail, maybe you're somewhere in the middle, but that's just what you're born with. And we take that into account in our treatments. And that's one of the reasons why it's so successful. The mind and the body as a web. Again, you cannot separate things in holistic medicine. You can't just treat the body. You can't say, oh, I'm going to treat your shoulder, but I'm not going to affect your mind. I'm not going to affect your digestion. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Every point that I put in affects everything on all levels. So that's why there's so much training involved for acupuncturists and other holistic practitioners. It's inextricable. We encourage integration with other modalities, which means I love working with people who are also going to a physical therapist, also working with an oncologist, also working with a psychiatrist or a psychologist. This is, again, I can work with anything that someone is going through and I can make a better outcome if we do both. So I encourage people to work with a team of practitioners, not just one of us. As they say, many hands make light work. So why is acupuncture the go-to solution? Well, need I say more? The 5 elements, as I was mentioning earlier, this is a Taoist perspective of reality, which includes everything. It includes the energy, the ways that energy can move. There are basically 5 different ways that energy move. And so what they did 2,500 years ago is they likened each of them to an element. So there's the wood element, and that is moving one way, and that's got associations with emotions and body organs and the time of year. a time of day, all of these things, parts of the body. And there's these five, the wood is the green, and you got the fire and the earth and the metal and the water. And so this is a big way of really giving a nice map of how everything is related. And so this is a mind-body connection. We're connecting energy movement with the emotions. And this is the basic premise of 5-element acupuncture. And so with it, you can treat just about anything. Of course, if you have a broken leg, don't call your acupuncturist. Go to your doctor. Or if you have an appendicitis, acupuncturist is not going to be able to fix that. There is a place for everything. For most chronic situations, acupuncture is great. Okay, why acupuncture? Well, it treats the root and the drug versus drugs only masking the symptoms. That's a real good reason. It's truly holistic medicine and without side effects. It's great for all aspects of performance, mind, body. Emotions are as treatable as physical pain. And that is the most powerful part of it. When somebody has anxiety and a lower back problem, I know exactly what to do for that person without drugs, without surgery, without years of therapy. I can help you pretty quickly because of the way that acupuncture works. Okay, so please contact me with any questions. And if you mention this webinar, I will give you up to $75 off your first treatment. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and be well.